Privacy hidden in the electric mist. Garbled circuits in a tight knotted twist. Ethereum's heart pumping in the vein. Fastest, lightest like lightning through the brain. MPC whisper secrets in the code. Scaling mountains where no one has strode. DeFi wonders bloom in the cyber cloud. COTI Viv2's beat makes the networks proud. Fastest system, light as air. Private roads going everywhere. Building futures in the stream. Layer 2 rides the blockchain dream. AI dances in the quantum glow. Scalable promises let the future show. Transactions flying faster than sight. COTI Viv2's orbit in endless light. Silent power in the digital sea. Privacy roaring for you and me. A revolution bound by the key. Garbled circuits set our minds free.
The only Ethereum Layer 2 specifically focused on privacy, and we see, like many other coins, price is consolidating. In fact, price right now is 91% from all-time highs. This is my plan, my strategy, and here is the founder and CEO of COTI, the Ethereum L2, dropping alpha about a third central bank digital currency in the works for COTI network. 1 could be a fluke, 2, it starts to get interesting, and 3, we're starting to see a trend.
1 could be a fluke. 1 could be a fluke.
2, it starts to get interesting.
1 could be a fluke.
3, we starting to see a trend.
1 could be a fluke.
Privacy isn't sexy until it is. We on that immaculate razor.
1 could be a fluke.
Haters hate, they're stuck in rewind. We on fast forward, we undefined.
Why not us? Why not now? Raising rooftops, breaking vows. COTI army, marching strong. On our vibe, we can't go wrong. Oh, oh, why not us? The stars align. Privacy is sexy and it's all mine.
Bees are calling 2026, dancing hearts, electric kicks. Every beat's a brand new page where the future center stage. They can't hold us, they can't try. We untamed, reaching the sky.
Why not us? Why not now? Raising rooftops, breaking vows. COTI army, marching strong. On our vibe, we can't go wrong. Oh, oh, why not us? The stars align.
Privacy is sexy and it's all mine.
What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 29, season 2
great.
of COTI Confidential. August 10th, 2025. Here we are. Why not us? Privacy is sexy. All of that. Lots going on. Welcome, Soren. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going all right, man. Great new track. Love it. Love it. It was just what I needed. I've had a long weekend with all my football teams losing, so it's been an absolute disaster. So let's turn that around. How are you doing, mate?
I'm great. It's hard to be around for Sundays right now for me, but we had some really bad weather this weekend and stuff, so we all stayed home. Kids are busy, and I do genuinely miss this on Sundays when I can't be here. So
Well, we missed you too.
Thanks. Well, here's my favorite part of the week. Not only the stream, but your weekly updates. So let's spin it up, man.
All right, let's take a quick look at that one. Just a little bit of housekeeping to start the update off. I posted the sort of middle of the week. I posted a little bit about understanding what it is COTI is building, how the market rotates money and profits, and a few other items, and basically trying to help people make informed decisions. So in that context, I thought I carefully explained that COTI is not just building for a single market cycle, but rather for multiple cycles spanning the next 10, 15 years. Privacy is a meta-narrative, and as such, it'll be critical for a long time to come. Getting the whole world on chain is not going to be done overnight, so we're going to be around doing privacy for a long, long time. Now, a few people, mainly in our Turkish community, took this a little bit too hard and suggested that I was advising people that their next selling opportunity for COTI was about 10, 15 years away. So I need to just make that clear. I don't care whether you buy, whether you sell, when you do it, how you do it. This is completely up to you. You do what you think is right. I don't make any recommendations when you should buy or sell. I don't make any predictions on how the market values COTI. So my mission is there. My mission here is to educate people, to help understand what we're doing, and generally trying to be useful in building a stronger, better community. And the rest is on you personally as a COTI investor. So let's get that out of the way and on to some actual and very, very interesting news. So on Friday came the long-awaited announcement that JET's going open source, multi-chain, and private. So there's a lot to unpack in all of that. So let's just take it one at a time. So COTI will open source the key parts of the JET infrastructure, including front-end, back-end, and wallet plus dApp integration. So the way I read this is that it'll allow developers from every community to build around the JET core infrastructure. So the way I read this is that developers can now build, in essence, their own JET, but it seems they can't tinker with the collateralization mechanisms and other parts of the core infrastructure. That's at least my understanding, but we'll get back to discussing this a little bit more. COTI will also develop a wrapped private JET that will be deployed on Midnight, which is the privacy-focused sidechain of Cardano. Because Midnight's designed for interoperability, this will make JET available on a number of blockchains such as Solana, Ripple, and Avalanche. Next, JET will remain on the Cardano ecosystem as before, but will receive a privacy upgrade so that users can opt in, opt out of leveraging our privacy on demand capabilities that COTI offers. And last but not least, another wrapped JET will be introduced to COTI V2, i.e. our own ecosystem. So there's a lot of things. If you want to look at this big picture, there's a lot of things, but one of the first things that spring to mind is that this will make private JET available to an additional 20 million plus users in what is quite a unique and world first setting. It'll be the first stablecoin with native privacy support across multiple chains and privacy layers, whilst providing the foundation for both open and private finance. This means basically you have selective programmable confidentiality. Essentially, you can opt in, you can opt out, you can program who gets to share what with who, and all that good stuff. And it is multiple chains, it's multiple privacy layers, and it makes JET available to a significantly larger audience. We're going to talk a little bit about this as well and give a few examples of it. As far as timelines are concerned, expect this to start moving at speed in Q3/4 this year. Cardano has their own stablecoin team, and I'm sure they've already made quite a lot of the background work that's needed for this, but there's possibly some work that needs to be done in the COTI end. So this is obviously a huge deal, not just because of JET, but also because it increases, the increased exposure of JET is at the same time an increase in exposure of garbage circuits. So if you take just as one example, to look at it in a larger context, if you combine what we just talked about with the increased JET exposure, which is also garbage circuits exposure, and combine it with MetaMask, with my Ether wallet, and with Encrypt. So we just take 3 wallet integrations that we got cooking at the moment. That exposes garbage circuits to approximately 40 to 50 million users. And if you take a conservative adoption rate of say 5-10%, quite easy to see that would be a big deal for COTI. So we're going to talk a lot about this tonight, but this is absolutely a massive, it's a game changer for us. Not purely because of JET, but because of all the ripple effects that it's got. Elsewhere, a very interesting interview with Shahaf early in the week, where he covered, his sort of standard group of issues around privacy and the way forward for COTI. One interesting point, there was a couple of interesting points, but the most interesting one was the revelation that garbage circuits, as it stands right now, is actually more than 3 times as fast as Summer, which have just launched with a lot of fanfare and a huge cash offering. They got a lot of cash. What's the word for this? They raised a lot of money for Summer. Yeah, and yet we're out there and we're more than 3 times faster. Yeah. And this is before we've actually started streamlining garbage circuits in the way we know we can. And speed will be one of the critical factors going forward. So obviously that's quite an interesting bit of information. We haven't had that before. We've also seen during the last few weeks, but particularly this week was a great one from Dr. Avishai at Soda Labs. A little peek behind the scenes, showcasing that basically people are lining up now outside his store. He's taken 4 to 5 calls every single day for people who want to learn more about privacy. It was also very interesting that he made the admission that there's still a lot of misconceptions about exactly what multi-party computation can do for a business or a project. Yeah, so most people think this is at a wallet level. So he's having to explain that or clear up those misconceptions. And Dr. Avishai, education is important. And COTI, they've earned themselves seats in a lot of interest organizations now, with the Tokenized Asset Coalition being the latest, biggest one. And it's very clear that this sort of effort is really needed, because there are going to be a lot of misconceptions that need to be cleared up along the way. So this will be a great investment of both time and effort to sit in places like Tokenized Asset Coalition and Enterprise Ethereum Foundation and all the ones. And Dr. Avishai predicts basically a golf stick adoption graph once the real rush to survive in Web3 in a Web3 environment begins. And I can certainly imagine that, because once this starts to become a thing, the first movers will have a massive advantage. The second movers, they'll need to move even faster if they just want to survive. So great insights from Dr. Avishai and from Soda Labs. I really love their articles, and that they're letting us peek a little bit behind the scenes. Shahaf and Joshua, they sat down with Johnny Reinsch, who was the executive director of Tokenized Asset Coalition, for what I thought was a very high-level discussion on the shift towards compliant privacy and how Garbage Circuits caters for it. Johnny clearly knows his way around this, because he was asking some super good questions. And for those of you who haven't watched it, do it, because that was really. This was basically like a hedge fund manager asking questions. So really strong stuff. And the discussion.
I got some clips to play right after this, just so you know, so we can hit that.
Excellent. So, and the discussion ranged from bridging trillions of dollars on chain to paying $5 for your taxi ride, in both cases, without worrying about whether the whole world will know about it. And the whole discussion very well encapsulates the sort of quite exciting challenges that lie ahead. And all in all, it was a great week, loads of positives, and of course we're gonna discuss all of this tonight. So that was the update.
As always, awesome, man. Super appreciated. Everybody loves them. I'll say this every time. I rely on them. It's a great thing. Let's go back to that. I thought that the last interview you were talking about, I thought that was one of the best I've seen, maybe. And to have those two guys together with an interviewer was pretty awesome. Let's go right to that segment that you talked about privacy, taxi cab, paying with stablecoins. I'm not going to preface it too much. Let's roll this.
I never thought about the OPSEC issues with that. The hype cycle right now around stablecoins, if it's to be believed, is everybody's going to pay with stablecoins and credit cards are dead, and that we're going overboard with it. But I never thought about how you could have that problem of literally getting in the wrong cab and on-chain activity shows that this is a whale. Like, I know they're staying at this place. It's a problem.
Yeah, this has already started happening around the world. So,
and it's the same wallet that may afterwards, donate to a certain cause that later on becomes very unpopular, or you vote in a DAO decision, and then like, why did you vote that and not that? And if this is why we have shower curtains and everything else in life. Transparency is not always the first choice.
Yeah, have you guys seen those videos where it's like someone interviewing a couple and they have them go through their phones like on camera? Like, imagine having all of your on-chain activity like exposed all at once. It's like all the meme coins, all the dumb things that you invested in over the years. It's like,
that's the least of my problems, sir. Obviously.
yeah, I mean, but it is the visceral reaction that people don't think about is like, why does a blockchain need privacy? Imagine your phone suddenly unlocks all of your DMs, every SMS that you sent, and then it becomes very, very clear, why do you need this today?
So they're using an analogy of a whale there, but just think if you're traveling somewhere, right? You're paying with stables, whatever you're paying with, those people know that you have a hot wallet. So no matter how much is in there, it's a problem, right? So it's not only for whales, it's for everybody. They use that cell phone analogy. Shahaf has been saying that for years, right? I don't think you'd want everybody watching your DMs or seeing your hidden folders or blah, blah, blah. So that was a good one. I liked that. I think that kind of, even if you feel that you don't need privacy, I think for some people, even me, like hearing that one is like paying with stable coins, traveling abroad, or taxi. I thought that was a really, really good analogy.
Yeah, and for people like us who are used to dancing around all this crypto stuff, we'll probably know better than to have everything in one wallet. Yeah, the average unsuspecting user who is doing this for the first time won't. And that's where the problem is going to be. And you're seeing it now. You got a MetaMask payment card, you got Binance payment cards, you got Coinbase payment cards, you got Coinbase and the bank thing we discussed it last week, where basically you can now connect your bank account to your crypto wallet. So this is coming, and it's coming fast. It's not we're not talking 5 years out in the future. It's going to be much faster than that.
So I thought that was a great individual analogy. And now let's move it forward into more of a corporate setting, and where they talked about payroll and how, well, even if you're blockchain first company, if you are going to pay your employees from one of your blockchain wallets, I mean, whether it's your main wallet or not, like you'd have a bunch of wallets, but people are still going to see. So even if you can't see the whole P&L, because they do talk about that, obviously you can have different accounts and stuff, but unless you're paying every employee from a different wallet, you know, you're going to be able to see that. And we all know the wallets get funded, you trace them and everything. So here's an interesting analogy in a corporate setting.
There's very simple things like, you know, ask the blockchain world why blockchain companies don't pay their staff in USDC on chain. Like, they don't. There's very few blockchain companies that actually do payroll on chain, even though they're blockchain first organization, and it's because of privacy.
Because you don't want your whole P&L on chain.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want your whole P&L on chain. You don't want staff to compare salaries, etc. Whether that's, you know, right or wrong, that's the reality. And then the other issue, I mean, even down to small things like we're here at Token 2049 in Dubai. You get into a taxi and someone sees a blockchain shirt. If you pay for that taxi using your wallet, you don't know if you get wrench attacked afterwards, or they follow you back to your hotel because they know that you have blockchain assets. And so even simple payments like to a taxi driver becomes problematic.
So I thought those were two really good, you know, not use cases, but explanations why privacy can be important for individuals or corporations, right?
No, and this was overall a super conversation, because Johnny Ryan, she sees this. He's the corporate face of this discussion, and he's asking the much harder questions than what they normally get asked in interviews, because he's basically saying, what about this problem? What about that problem? How are we going to solve this? How are you going to do that? So you got to watch the whole discussion, because really it'll be worth your time understanding how people think about these things and the sort of challenges that we have ahead of us.
So one last clip from that interview, and it's kind of like a garbled circuits for dummies, right? The interesting thing here, I think, is when Shahaf says it's not that they're writing the actual answer or output on a note. They're writing a ciphered note that's getting deciphered by the box. Here's a quick explanation about garbled circuits and what it can
Garbled
do.
circuits were invented to solve this problem. Imagine a neighborhood, and it's terrible in a sense that everybody wants to know who's the richest guy in the neighborhood. Okay, so imagine LA. Right? But people don't really want to disclose their net worth. They just want a mathematical proof, indisputable proof that this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. So they write their net worth on a note, but they don't really write it. It's a code. Okay, so even if someone finds this note, their net worth is not exposed. And they take all these ciphered notes and they put it in a black box that nobody can see within. And that black box can actually tell you the result is Joshua is the richest guy in the neighborhood. So this is something that garbled circuits can do.
So like Soren says, that one, and most of them are, but that one is definitely worth watching in its entirety. I thought it's one of the best. It really is, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this tokenized asset coalition is going to be extremely valuable for COTI going forward. I think it'll take probably 6 to 12 months before we start seeing the results of this, because these are big players. They don't make decisions overnight. I hope we can see something earlier, but I'm very, very sure we're going to see something concrete come out of this.
So a few weeks ago, when I hosted the first DECC spaces, I had asked Shahaf a question, and he said, "Well, I just got asked this on the Block Hash podcast." So I was kind of waiting for that one to come out, and it did recently. I'm going to play a clip from that one.
Fully anonymous blockchain is not compliant. It doesn't work with anti-money laundering, zero financing, all of that. It doesn't work, and the rules are not going to change because of crypto. They're not going to change. So you can do completely anonymous transactions. Now, a completely transparent blockchain, the reality is that this is also not compliant because it infringes other rights that people have and duties that institutions have for privacy, like HIPAA, GDPR, etc. So the reality is that you can't do fully transparent, you can't do fully anonymous. So the solution is abiding the regulation. It means that there is such a thing as compliant privacy. It means that whoever by law requires to verify and audit something should be able to do so. And you can actually do that with COTI quite easily. Like in the smart contract, I can decide that this address and that address can actually view the transactions because I'm okay. I'm not trying to hide something illegal. I'm trying to keep my privacy, which is my legal right.
So that was another good one. And the past couple of interviews kind of reminded me of something is that, the COTI Confidential crew, the core crew, we're watching every update anyways. So we do these recaps. It's stuff that we've already seen and talked about. Then we open it up and discuss it. But what I think we forget sometimes is that we're going to see a lot of new people coming into the ecosystem. So sometimes we need to go back to the core explanations and stuff so that when we do have a new member coming to our streams or to our channels, that it's not, you're not being bombarded by stuff that's completely almost nonsensical to you because it's like kind of like the inner workings. So we need to keep our content at a level where you can bring people in and explain things. So that's one thing that I need to, remember when we're doing this COTI Confidential stuff. So when you do see stuff being repeated, we want to be a welcoming atmosphere for the new people coming and not just talk about stuff that's kind of at the advanced level only. So you will, I hope you will see more of that content coming from me because it is something that, podcasts previous, I always tried to keep elements of that in there. So I apologize for the repetitiousness, but I do think it's important. We do need to welcome new people into our ecosystem. And this is one of the places where they'll be, hanging out. It's like Joshua Maddox said the first time I interviewed him. He said, before I even knew anything really about COTI, one of the first things I saw was the Who is Tracer podcast and everything. So I've always remembered that and been thinking about that for years, that we have to keep our content somewhat, accessible for new users.
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's good reminders for ourselves as well. Yeah, we can sometimes tend to get a little bit too far ahead of ourselves. So good thing, we just get the basics read back to us every once in a while.
And on that note, I have a question for you, Soren, because I can't remember, but have we discussed that altcoin daily video, the one that I started the podcast with today? Have we talked about that?
No, I think that was the weekend. You weren't there.
Yeah. So let's.
That was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I said this to you and I thought it was live, but I got quoting Shahaf, who was really quoting something that I had said to Shahaf and Shahaf was repeating in our opinions, right? Yeah. So there was a pretty cool circle there to see that. I'm going to show you what we were talking about right here. This was featured in the past 2 weeks or so on an altcoin daily YouTube video.
Let's keep going. I want an edge investing in crypto. What other altcoins are seeing fundamental progress? But let's just check out an Ethereum Layer 2, the only Ethereum Layer 2 specifically focused on privacy. And we see, like many other coins, price is consolidating. In fact, price right now is 91% from all-time highs. And that's because looking at Ethereum gas fees, the ETH blockchain is still very cheap to use today. Once the masses come back and the ETH blockchain, the layer 1, gets expensive, that is when quality Ethereum layer 2s will take off. I think, again, not financial advice, this is my plan, my strategy. And 1 could be a fluke. 2, it starts to get interesting. And 3, we're starting to see a trend. Here is the founder and CEO of COTI, the Ethereum L2, dropping alpha about a third central bank digital currency in the works for COTI network. The reason the CBDCs are choosing to work with this Ethereum L2, I believe, is because they offer privacy.
Other than that, it's continuous adoption. We're focused on the wallets that had privacy for payments, DeFi, as I've mentioned, AI, as I've mentioned, and real-world assets. Whether we are involved with 2 CBDCs right now, one coming from the Bank of Israel, but yeah, the other one is the European Central Bank. They have their own initiative and we're part of it. We're working on another one as well. We're working with various issuers from buy side and sell side too, because they all need privacy and they understand that, and that can come on chain if done right.
So I don't know what you guys think, but the last month to me has been crazy. And we're just like, I'm just scratching the surface there on some of the stuff that's been out there. Would you agree, Soren? Or
No, no, absolutely. I mean, you getting featured by Allcoin Daily, that topped the list. That was fantastic and well deserved, by the way, because you are putting out a lot of super content. So only makes sense.
I was just plagiarizing your content, bro. So I'll take it.
It's funny how this thing goes. It went from me to you, from you to Shahaf, from Shahaf back to you, then to Allcoin Daily. So that was a nice, it took a nice little journey. But it's true. And it's true for everything, because that's how these narratives, they start building. Yeah. So the fact that we're involved with 2 CBDCs, okay, that's what it is. But if we get a third, then we will start seeing the narrative that COTI is the CBDC privacy provider kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, these things are super important. But it was a good one, and I enjoyed seeing you featured there a lot.
I know you want to talk about this, but you're really excited about the JED news.
Yeah, and for a number of reasons. And actually, I think that the one thing that would excite me most about JED, I think actually is not covered here. But then you start looking into it a little bit more, and you understand that there's a whole bunch of other things that are there to be excited about. So, as I said in the weekly update, I think the core infrastructure will remain in place. So you can sort of build around the core infrastructure. So the 800% over collateralization rate will remain. As far as I can tell, the JET being backed by ADA and Shen will remain. The whole JET Shen relationship will remain, and being backed by ADA will remain. And these were actually some of the things that I was quite excited about, because I'd love to see a JET backed by treasuries or gold or a dollar-backed JET, but with all the other mechanisms intact. But, possible that I'm misunderstanding this, and this is something we'll have to dig into a little bit more. But when I started looking into this a little bit, Tracer, I then discovered something else. Yeah, and this is gonna blow your mind. Yeah, it blew my mind completely. So JET is on the Cardano ecosystem, and Cardano has a sum total of $30 million TVL on the stablecoin front. Yeah, and JET is the second biggest. And we hold about a 25% market share of the stablecoin market on Cardano. Yeah. So, and this is a little bit for people who are a little bit worried that JET never took off, this or that. it's actually a quarter of the Cardano market. So that in itself is not bad. Cardano has IUSD, USDM, which is a homegrown, USDM is a homegrown Cardano initiative by the late and revered Matthew Plowman and his wife. You'd think that just for sentimental reasons, people would be using that because they're very loyal and very into that kind of stuff. And, rightly so, it's good. And they got USDC and they got USDT. And yet, Jet is still number 2. So that was the first one that blew my mind a little bit. It's only 30 million. That's quite small. But then as a part of Jet going on midnight, you will now have access to, amongst others, the Solana ecosystem. So I went and had a look at Solana. Solana's stablecoin, TVL, is $13 billion. All right, I don't know if that's 130 or 170 times what Cardano has. It's 13 billion with a B, yeah? And if we are extremely conservative and say that Jet will take anywhere between 1 and 5% of the Solana stablecoin volume, yeah, that is anywhere between $200 and $600 million. And that's just Solana. Then you got Avalanche, you got Ripple, you got, all this other stuff, yeah. And that, so that is really the one thing about the whole Jet announcement that people should pay attention to, because just being on Cardano, quite clearly with the 30 million TVL on stablecoins doesn't move the needle a lot. Yeah, and you have a 25% market share. That's quite decent. Yeah, adding it to our own ecosystem is also not going to move the needle a lot because we're not that big yet. But adding Jet to Solana, just as an example, that is easily a $200 million to $500 million opportunity. Yeah, and that's with an extremely low adoption rate. Yeah. And plus, of course, the fact that, as I mentioned in the update, this along with MetaMask, Encrypt, and my Ether wallet is basically a 50 million people audience for garbage circuits. Yeah. Now, you then got to take adoption rates from that 50 million people audience and, conservatively, and I looked it up and to see what sort of adoption rates do people expect, and a conservative adoption rate sits somewhere between 5 and 10%. Yeah, so 10% of 50 million people, that's 5 million people. That's quite decent. Yeah,
I loved that post that you made listing the different stablecoin TVLs on Cardano, because we hear a lot, well, Jed's a disappointment, it's only this, its market cap is only this. When you realize it was literally powered to or designed to power the Cardano ecosystem, when you look at its market share as compared to other stablecoins, can you still call that not a success?
no, of course not. Of course not, because it's not available anywhere else. Yeah, and you now have Jet having cornered a quarter of the Cardano ecosystem. If you wanna mince, or if you wanna split words, and if you wanna spin this in a negative direction, you can say why does Cardano only have a 25% share in the Cardano ecosystem? Yeah, USDC on Solana. And I looked this up today as well. USDC on Solana has a 71% share. So Solana is predominantly USDC. Yeah. So, you can spin this in all sorts of directions, but the reason why people spun Jet as a disappointment was the overall TVL of Jet as a stablecoin versus USDT that's available on 250 different blockchains. and Jet's only available on one. So when you start going into the numbers a little bit more, Jet's actually doing quite well on Cardano. Yeah, and it's the only place it's available, so it's really all we got for reference. Yeah, until soon.
I've been saying for years that Cardano DeFi is still in its infancy, and people don't like how slow anything has gone on Cardano. But you know, to me, that's a fact. Don't come at me, but you know,
Yeah,
Cardano
I mean,
DeFi, it's just it's.
I think a lot of Cardano DeFi actually is done with ADA. I think they started out all of them using ADA as their sort of stable coin replacement. And I think maybe that's why they still only have a $30 million TVL on stablecoins. And of course, the fact that it's a much larger DeFi ecosystem than we have. Of course, it's a huge, but compared to some of the other chains, it is minute. Yeah, you know, the numbers tell their own story in that sense. Yeah, and I think, you know, I also posted a little bit earlier this week that Jet was born in a bear market. It has survived 5 or 6 massive disasters that killed off a few other, or made people worried about a few other large stable coins. Yeah, and it's never lost its peg, not once. And now you're going to get a private update on it. Yeah, you're going to get a privacy update on Jet. So I'm super excited to see how all this will go. Again, there's going to be a curve of people leaning into it. It's not all going to be from a Monday to a Tuesday, but I think we're going to see quite a lot of this.
I was going to mention this to you earlier, but I'm going to say it now that you brought it up. I noticed this ratio here. Okay. Post didn't really go anywhere. 946 views, right? Look at your like ratio though. That's crazy. That is wild.
Yeah.
Like, people love that post, man. That's like, I don't know, like quickly working out that percentage is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's interesting you mentioned this, because we had a community member ask today, complaining about the low activity in the TG groups. Yeah, I'm actually seeing on my weekly updates. I only compare the weekly updates with another weekly update, and I've actually this week actually one of the best ones I've done is past 5,000 impressions. Yeah, but I'm generally seeing anywhere from 3,000, 4,000 to 5,000, and the trend is going up. So I think just people decide to spend a little bit less time on Telegram and more time on X and other socials. So. Just for that, somebody had that question.
Oh, you know,
we're fans.
You know how much I love Telegram.
Yeah,
yeah, I love our COTI heroes. I'm gonna just always call them COTI heroes, for obvious reasons. We're gonna have a bit of a NFT stream coming up, the end of the month, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Talk a lot about NFTs at the I think the last one in August, probably, right? Am I crazy?
Yes. I think last weekend.
I'm crazy?
Last weekend or second last weekend of August. It's towards the end of the month. We're going to have Maurice come on and to explain a little bit about his quite novel approach. He's got an NFT project. And he's got quite a novel approach of setting aside some COTI for each NFT and then staking it and then giving the staking rewards back to the community, i.e. the people who bought his NFTs. So quite an interesting one. And I hope that in that connection, we might get our COTI superheroes on board as well, maybe.
And I have a little bit of... Jan will be there. Jan's going to be there.
Excellent.
Right, Jan? He has to. He's going to be there. Jan will be there.
He's going to come and tell us about what's going on with Crafter. We haven't heard from them for a long time.
But if you're paying really, really close attention, you may have seen some teasers. So there might be a Telegram group out there somewhere for Crafter with some interesting alpha. No, but he sent me some stuff. It looks great. Really does. Poor guy. Yeah, we'll see you there, Jan. We're all looking forward to hearing from you. What else did you want to touch on, sir?
Well, I want to touch a little bit. On those upon those comments from. Sorry, excuse me. From Dr. Avishai, yeah. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite people as far as looking up posts. I always get excited when Dr. Avishai starts posting about this because he's very, very straightforward in when he posts. Yeah, if it's in his head, it comes out on paper, and I kind of like that. And he's an extremely intelligent person. So I kind of take a lot of the things that he says and I study them more closely. So this is a good one. This is called the 90% insight. So he says, I'm taking 4 to 5 calls a day with customers, investors, and others, and reviews tens of projects already in the past months. I'll try and share my thoughts and insights with you, and this is part 1. Yes, 90% of the projects are pushing privacy requirements to the last minute, although they explicitly acknowledge they need privacy for real growth and penetration to real-world use cases. About 90% of those 90% will never integrate privacy because they probably won't find a product market fit and won't be around for long enough. Yes, this is completely understood. Building as a POC, I'm not sure what that means.
Proof of concept.
Proof of concept, that's right. Doesn't require checking the privacy box. If anything, it only requires making sure the end-to-end flow works and onboarding usage. The remaining 10% of the 90% who are serious about privacy, i.e. planning integration in the near future, are going to boom so hard that the others will have to follow or slowly die. We're about to witness a golf stick adoption graph very, very soon. And here comes actually the most interesting part of his post. 90% of the projects that are exploring privacy in the near or far future have the perception that zero knowledge is privacy and multi-party computation is the wallet solution. This perception is continuously changing, but this is the state of affairs. It does, and this is the bad news, but the good news is it takes less than 1 minute to change the perception. And usually they get out of the call with additional valuable knowledge. They never leave the call with zero knowledge. And I thought, I've been in blockchain too long now because I thought that was insanely funny. So, I like Dr. Avishai's humor. But yeah, these are insights that we don't often get. And when it comes from literally the guy who, together with his team, invented the blockchain version of Garble circuits, it's something you should listen to. So I want to implore all of you, give him a follow if you don't, because there's a lot of alpha coming out of that account.
Absolutely.
And number 2, the pragmatist insight. Tech can do it. Zero knowledge, multi-party computation, Garble circuits, FHE, all the beloved acronyms. We've got the whole cryptographic arsenal to deliver full-on encrypted everything. But that's not what decides what hits the market. Products need to fit the market, and the market plays by rules, aka regulation. If regulators aren't cool with 100% privacy, users, as mainstream users, won't get 100% privacy, even if the tech is flawless. Example, Tornado Cash, full privacy, full sanctions, full shutdown. How about Monero and Zcash? Great tech, but can't touch a payment rail or a central exchange. Telegram, mass adoption, billions of messages a day, full end-to-end encryption in some chats, and still banned in countries, still under pressure, still not immune. This is not surprising, as today payment is no more than messaging. Even the projects that really care about privacy end up adding keys, audit trails, opt-in shielding, not because they love compromise, but because they want to survive. And that's fine. Real privacy adoption won't come from cypherpunk max mode. It'll come from compliant privacy. This is important. It comes from compliant privacy. Privacy that works inside constraints, privacy that ships. Cypherpunk privacy is rather a societal struggle. It's not about the tech, it's about values, norms, control, and it might win, it might not. Either way, it's a long game. What ships today to users isn't that fight. It's just survival within the current rules, and but more on all the cypherpunk stuff. But the important bit there was compliant privacy. Yeah, and of course this is what COTI has been laser focused on. Make sure, and there was a lot in that interview about compliance within borders and within jurisdictions within borders. In the interview with Johnny Reinsch of the Tokenized Asset Coalition with Shahaf and Joshua, they talk a lot about the compliance within jurisdictions. And if COTI becomes a winner in privacy, which we believe it will, it'll be because they kept their eye on the compliance ball, without a shadow of a doubt, because compliance is going to win the day.
And just like Avishai said, here's a good quote from Joshua. Privacy has always been an underlying concern when people need it. The issue is that most people don't realize they need it until it's too late.
Yeah. And of course,
that's it right
now,
there.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And now the regulations are becoming so much clearer on all this that when we get to the end of the year, there will be the European regulations will be crystal clear. Asia is all pretty much already there. The US regulations will be crystal clear. And so you can now start building that compliance into your smart contracts so that you have selective disclosure that fits exactly to where you are and who you are dealing with. So if I'm in Azerbaijan and I'm dealing with a client in the US, I'll have to have a smart contract that caters for exactly that. However, if I'm dealing with a client in the UK, that smart contract might have to look a little bit different, but I can just have a smart contract for both, and I can still do my private confidential transactions in a legal manner.
I've got a question for you. If Jan is on vacation this week, what's his excuse?
I don't know. Isn't he always on vacation? I mean,
he's
been vacationing a lot this year. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed. I didn't want to bring this up, but he seems to have been vacationing a lot this year.
Okay, I can't even say it. I can't even say it live on stream. But I'm gonna.
Jan, we miss you, buddy. Come on, stream, buddy. We haven't had you on for so long. We're starting to think you don't love us anymore.
Wow. And yeah, I don't know, man. You know, COTI Confidential was never supposed to be about us sitting here and chatting, but
no,
I guess that's what it is.
Eli's had to go to a wedding today, so he couldn't join us. He'll be listening in later on for sure. I'd hoped that COTI News would show up, that Louisa might show up, so we could have a chat with her, but she didn't show up either. So,
of course, I missed the one where she decided to show up.
Yeah,
we met in Bangkok, and actually, Prince drug us around Bangkok for a while. That was fun.
Bangkok was fun. We need to do that. We need to do that again soon, mate.
Yep. I'm looking at the state COTI events, and I saw one Tokyo. That's the one we're going to. So you can message Joshua and Shahaf that we're going to go to Tokyo.
Right. So get the
That's
ticket.
The one. That's the one.
Just allocate the money and get the tickets sorted out.
I thought you were paying.
In the meantime, let's send our thoughts to Brad, aka COTI Ship.
Wow.
Who is in Las Vegas this week at the Rare Evo conference, obviously talking about private jet and midnight, and obviously talking to a lot of Cardano ecosystem projects and Ergo projects as well. That's it. The ship with CH himself. That was not on top of my list for this week that I would see a picture like that. But actually,
I need a drawing feature so I can, draw a little mustache here or something.
I think actually
guy.
Ship is on his knees there because he's a lot. He's as tall as Daniel, isn't he? Ship. He's a lot taller than Charles, but he doesn't look it in this picture.
I don't even know what to say about that. No, man, way to go, Brad. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? Like that's like, yeah.
And a big shout out to him because he is really. A lot of you guys won't ever see the results of what Ship is doing for two reasons. Because it won't necessarily get advertised, and even if it was, he's too modest to take credit for any of that. He's just a super modest guy, but he is doing a bucket load of work behind the scenes. And if you guys knew half of it, you would be really impressed. COTI has made an absolute perfect choice for business development manager for COTI V2. He does amazing.
What's interesting too is not even the BD outreach that he's done and how he's closing on deals. It's the infrastructure that I'm gonna say he's built for the ambassador program with Vlad. It's awesome, really cool stuff.
It
and
is,
so on that note, Soren and I know that the ambassador program, I get it. If you've applied and you haven't heard anything, you feel like it's dead, you feel like nothing's happening. It's not. There's a lot going on in the background, and we just can't wait for you to hear more about it. But COTI Aaron is coming too, so like all of that stuff meshes, right? Yeah. So you're just gonna have to be a little more patient. Look, I mean, it took Soren and I like 5 years to get in, if you want to look at it that way. So I'm not saying that's how long it's going to take for you, but a little bit of patience. Being publicly irritated with the process is the worst thing you could do there.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, well, yeah, you're wasting your own energy. But let's put it in simple terms, yeah, because there's a ripple effect. Yeah, so we got a handful of ambassadors now, and our activities are being coordinated, and everything is being done by Vlad. Yeah, and Vlad then reports back up to Ship, who does a whole lot of other business development activities. Now, if we were to take on another 20 ambassadors, which is what people are saying, oh, I applied, why am I not hearing back? So if we take on another 20 ambassadors, yeah, we need another 3 Vlads.
Yeah.
We need to.
Vlad's got too much on his plate, bro.
He already has. He can't.
There's
no way he can handle all of that. So we need more people like Vlad. They need to be hired. They need to be onboarded, and they need to be brought up to speed by Ship, who's already got a lot on his plate too. So these things, this thing is not being built overnight. Yeah, we gotta take our word for it. It is being built. There will actually be some additions to the ambassador core very soon. Yeah, and like you said, Teresa, everything is eventually going to be interconnected. Yeah, so it does. So yes, cool. It does take a little bit of time because we're not like other blockchains that can just take $1 million and throw it at a problem. We need to build it properly. Like I've said a couple of times now, we're not building this for one cycle. We're not building a bloody ambassador core for 6 months or 12 months. We're building it for years into the future because it's going to be such a powerful and potent tool of COTI going forward. Yeah. So yes, there is a ripple effect. So don't be disheartened because you haven't heard back. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. It just means we're still building it, or they are still building it. And it does take a bit of time. We've seen this. Just to build the structure around the handful of us that are there now has taken a lot of effort. So yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest because, and like you said, airing these things publicly it's not going to get you any closer to an ambassador role. Sorry, no, it's not.
Yeah. What do you think? Are we good?
Yeah.
Are we good for this week?
I think we're good for this week. It's been a super week, and you know, people should really start to get quite bullish on Jet. Once they start thinking a little bit behind the headlines of this, they will see that this is actually a massive, massive leap ahead for Jet. Yeah, the exposure that Jet's gonna get is gonna 100x overnight. So you know, I don't see how anyone can be bearish about that. Yeah.
There it is.
So I'm good. I don't have any more football teams that can lose this weekend, so I'm good. My misery might start again on Tuesday night, but until then, I'm fine.
So look, if you haven't joined our Telegram yet, what are you waiting for? And if you don't come up and speak, it's time. Come chat with us. Raise your opinions. We'd love to hear from you. That's what COTI Confidential is all about.
Yeah, and you don't have to be on
recap.
camera like we are. You don't have to be on camera. You can just switch off your camera and just be on your microphone. It's all good. We don't care.
Yep. That being said, we do love having the comment section available for feature. We don't do this anymore. I would love to feature other people to have their price predictions, but Soren and I aren't doing that right now.
Well, I'll break the rule. I will refer to Tom Lee of Fundstrat.
There's no rule. There's no rule, just so you know.
I will refer to Tom Lee of Fundstrat, who predicts that in this bull cycle, Ethereum is gonna go to about $60,000.
60?
$60,000, and this
That's
is from
it.
This is from a guy who is far more right than he's wrong. He says the whole Ethereum treasury mania has only just begun. He's already the single largest holder, Treasure. He's already the single largest holder of Ethereum. He holds 800,000 ETH.
Well, no wonder why it's going to get us. So no wonder.
And his first target is 1 million ETH, and he won't stop there. So.
Who are these people? These people need privacy.
Well, I'm happy we got a guy like Tom Lee pumping our backs, you know, because what's good for Ethereum will eventually be good for us too. So that's your price prediction for today: $60,000 ETH.
Okay, you need to go to bed, but that would be great. All right, well there you go. So is that COTI Confidential Alpha then?
That's the alpha.
That's the alpha.
Take it to the bank. Screenshot it if you must.
As always, guys, thank you for being here. Season 2, episode 29. Like we always say, we're not going anywhere. And from Soren and I, from coast to coast and around the world, thank you for tuning in to COTI Confidential. And remember, privacy is sexy.
And it's all mine.
See you next week.
All mine. All mine. ABs are calling 2026. Dancing hard to electric kicks. Every beat's a brand new page where the future sent to stay. They can't hold us, they can't try. We're untamed, reaching the sky. Why not us? Why not now? Raising rooftops, breaking vows. COTI army marching strong. On our vibe, we can't go wrong. Why not us? The stars align. Privacy is sexy, and it's all mine. All mine. All mine. All mine.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again next